Hello everyone and welcome to Bob's Reviews here in beautiful Manila, Philippines. I hope everyone is well and safe this holiday season. I thought I'd give you guys a little view of my Charlie Brown Christmas tree. This is the size of the tree that we have here in the Philippines. Kind of hard to get real trees here, but hey, we make do with what we have to work with. And I digress. It's a beautiful little tree. Very simple. I have my Starbucks ornaments all over it. This review today, it was going to be a redo of a review I did a few weeks ago about my SMSL system with the IE streamer. It was copyright struck by YouTube for 4 seconds of Queensryche. So I'm redoing it. I'm going to give you a rundown of my budget system. That's one reason why I'm called Budget Bob. We'll go through it. So you guys, let's sit back, go grab something to drink, coffee, Coke, whatever is your poison, and we'll get to it. So I'll see you in front of the system. Thank you for joining. Okay, I'm back and we're looking at my little SMSL setup. Let me take a vape real quick. Vaping on my blue Juma RVCC with the silver plate, solid silver plate. Looks maganda. Nice looking mod. Okay, we're listening to copyright-free music streaming from Spotify. Yes, they make copyright-free Christmas music. And we're using the IE streamer, which is right here. That is wired directly to my DSL box, hardwired, aka, and that is connected to my DAC. This is the SK10 version 3 DAC. That's connected to my DAC via optical. This is the A300 SMSL integrated amplifier. Depends on what your prerogative is to call it. Beautiful unit, excellent. I've really been happy with it. It's been almost a year now I've been using this setup. My Pioneer DVD player, very cheap, works as a transport. The difference between a transport and a CD player: a transport just transports the music to the DAC by connecting it from the back of the DVD player that you have or CD player. When you use the optical or coaxial, you're no longer using the built-in DAC in the CD player, DVD player. Now, that's one place that these companies cut costs, is by buying cheap DACs and installing them into their CD players, DVD players. This is by far a much better DAC than what's built into this Pioneer. And since it's connected from the Pioneer to this using coaxial, there is no DAC being used from the unit. The DAC is inside here. And that's what's converting the digital to analog signal. And that's going to here using RCAs. My Monster Cable RCAs. And then that is wired using the speaker wires in the back. That's going to my Mission 780 speakers. And I love them Mission 780 speakers. Now, let me give you a couple good things about this A300, why I like it so much. One reason is the built-in power supply. And if you look closely, that big cable in the back there is a 14 gauge cable, IEC cable, going into the back of the A300. And that's going from, let me back off, that's going from my beautiful power filter, which is also wired using a 14 gauge cable going to the wall, all copper. Hold on, let me readjust so we don't have the reflection of the light. There we go. Sorry about that, I apologize. All of that is being powered into here. And that's one reason why I love this A300, is because it has a built-in power supply. I don't have a brick on the floor. And I don't have to worry about buying the more expensive brick and getting juiced that way. So to get the maximum out of my receiver, I need to buy the 56 volt brick. I don't have to worry about all that. It plugs right in directly, no problem. The SK10, I've had no problems with SMSL, but then I did have the remote issue. Now there's been a lot of posts been made about the SMSL remote issue, and to be honest, it's bullshit. I thought I had that problem. I changed the batteries in my remote of this remote here. This remote here, I changed the batteries. I went to go use it, would not work. I checked it. If you take the remote and you aim it at your camera, you can see the light is working. See the light blinking? So I knew that's one way that you check remotes if you think the remote is bad or if you need batteries. If you don't see the light, you need batteries or the remote is broke. Well, I have new batteries in here and I see the light, but it wouldn't work on the DAC. So I figured I suffered the SMSL remote casualty, where I've read some posts and blogs about people's remotes stopped working and they had to do everything by hand and they didn't like the product because of that. Well, come to find out, I went 2 months with no remote, and really I don't need a remote for the DAC. I need the remote for the receiver, and I've had no issues with that remote. But this one did supposedly die on me. And so I went for 2 months without a remote, no biggie. But then I read somewhere, hey, if you change the batteries in your remote, or if you have an issue with the remote not working with your SML product, you need to sync the remote to the unit. And on this particular unit, you press the power and the A button at the same time and hold it. And then release. And then all of a sudden, it works. See? Mute. No problem. So, the SMSL does not have a remote issue. It's people are not syncing the remotes to the units after they've changed batteries or after they've shut the unit off and unplugged it. They need to synchronize the remote to the unit. But, other than that, I've had no issues with these products. I really love them a lot. This thing delivers for a Class D amp. I still have my NAD C352, and I have been using this non-stop for a year. My NAD has been in the box on the shelf and has not been touched. And I have been totally, absolutely amazed by the power and the quality of the music that comes from this. The other thing that I really like about this A300 is it's 2.1. So you have 2 front speakers and a subwoofer out, which is powering my Warfendale 10-inch. And that's beautiful because what it's doing is it's cutting out the lows going to the speakers. So the speakers are only receiving mids and highs, which are really the strong point of those Mission speakers. And all the lows are going to the subwoofer. That is the witch's tit. That's really nice. I love the display. I love the blue. The controllability about it is really nice and smooth. You got a nice volume button here. Very nice. Remember, YouTube, that's copyright free music from Spotify. Alright? Before they take this video down too. Or strike it. But anyways, back to the subject on hand. The IE streamer has been an excellent streamer. I've had no issues with that whatsoever. We're listening to Spotify Premium right now because you need the Premium in order to access all the options of the IE streaming device. I've been totally happy with it. Comes with a remote. It's cheaper than the Wii Mini. And I can wire it directly to my DSL box, which you really want to do here in the Philippines. Our internet is not the best, so I feel more comfortable with it hardwired. But once again, all of this stuff, at the whole system, speakers, subwoofer, cables, was all done for under $300, 15,000 peso. And I am amazed at the quality of sound coming from this Class D Chinese amplifier. I'm impressed. I take back anything that I ever said about Class D amps, And I take back anything that I did say about our friends in China. They are building some quality products. Now you have to remember, a lot of the components that are inside this and inside this are American and Japanese made and assembled in China, in Zhengguo. So you have to take that in consideration when you're judging these, okay? So the workmanship's been excellent. The quality of the chips and the components they use is excellent. I've really been happy with them. I've been looking for a SMSL streaming device, but SMSL does not have license to carry Spotify Connect, and I really like Spotify Connect. In America, I would be totally going Tidal lossless, no question, without a doubt. But here in the Philippines, it's a little bit of a bear to get Tidal here, let alone lossless. So Spotify Connect is available in the Philippines, and you avail of the premium, which is a great bonus, because I tell you what, a big difference in sound quality when I switched to the premium. I mean a big difference. Now, before using a DAC, I was hooking up my vintage equipment and my other stuff using one of these RCAs that I plug into my iPod or my dock for my iPod, or even to my box. Before I had a DAC, I had it plugged into with this going to my receiver so I could listen to YouTube music and stuff, on online music on my old style vintage receiver. With this setup, you no longer have to worry about any of that stuff. It's so much easier to connect, so much less wires, so much less of a headache and problems. I tell you what, really nice. But let me get back in my chair and we'll listen to some of the music here. I'm trying to think of if there's anything else that I've forgotten to mention that was really important about this. The power supply cable is a Type C cable. Instead of using the one that came with it, I did buy an upgraded Type C cable from Venchun. It's a good cable for power for this, so I know that this is getting 100% of the power it needs to have to use. Other than that, I've been really happy with this setup. I have not had any problems other than the remote, and that was a user fault. That was user fault. That was not the fault of the components. Okay, that was not the DAC's fault. It was my fault. I failed to learn, to read, and to understand that sometimes there is a way to fix things without going off the handle and posting about it. So, lesson learned. Remember, synchronize your remotes if you ever have a problem with the SMSL. 5,000 peso or $100 I paid for this. This one I paid 2,000 peso. The CD player I paid 500 peso or $10. The streamer was 3,000 peso, $60. My Mission speakers, we're not going to talk about prices, but they were very cheap. My Wharfindale subwoofer, right there, that was 2,000 peso or $40. That's a Wharfindale 10-inch. Let me back off on the zoom. Let me back up a little. Remember, I'm PWD, so I'm down on the floor. So let me zoom out. Hold on a second. Let me turn the music up a little. Hold on while I situate myself. It really sounds really good. I'm impressed that a Class D amplifier can sound this good. But I am using good cables, very good speakers, and I'm using good products. The product itself is well made. The Spotify Premium is really nice. It sounds so good. Christmas, neighbors. I'm proud of the setup I've been able to put together with such a little bit of money. Ever since I became PWD, I've had to watch every penny and nickel I had. It's my problem, and it's been quite a struggle. But I've made it through. It's working. I'm happy with this system, more so than any other system in my life. Now, I have over 40 years experience in the audio field, so this is nothing new to me. And where do I obtain my information? Now that I'm home a lot more than I ever was, I do a lot of reading and a lot of online searching. And three places on YouTube that I recommend 100%. You guys must check these guys out. They know them way more than I, and they're so much more informative than I am. That's the Cheap Audio Man. Just check him out, Cheap Audio Man. Boss Paul at PS Audio. That's PS Audio. And Boss Danny at GR Research. Those three gentlemen are probably the wisest gentlemen on YouTube. And you could pretty much bank on anything they do say. And I highly recommend watching their videos and checking them out. But that's where I obtain a lot of my information that I currently have. I mean, you're never too old to learn. I'm still learning. You know, I have 40 years in the audio, but there's things I'm still learning. Like this past 2 years, I learned about DACs. When I first learned about DACs, I bought a DAC, a $19 one, 1,000 peso. It was junk. It was such junk, it turned me off. I went back to using RCA's analog hookup to my system. I then revisited DACs and bought a better DAC, and I was amazed at that. Then I upgraded that DAC to a higher end DAC, the SK10-3. That was night and day difference. That's story over. I'm totally been converted. You need to have a DAC. Period. You have to. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The amplifier, you could go with anything you want, anything that fits in your price range, anything that you really enjoy listening to. That's not a problem. But a DAC you need to have nowadays, especially with all the digital music that we're listening to. With that said, hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this long-ass video. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the nosebleed to the Filipino watchers. Much respect to everybody out there. You all be safe this holiday. Take care of yourselves. I wish the best for you and your families. Just be safe and please take care. Thank you for watching. Salamat po. See you guys in the future. And Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas. Thank you, man. See ya.